Okay. Right, episode 1, no comment podcast. Liam Hughes. Liam, how you doing?
Good, nice to be here. Thanks for asking me on.
No, I'm really looking forward to seeing you, Wade. This is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Ex-football, ex-Wolves, Bury, Stafford Rangers, bit of a non-league legend, banging the goals. So where you at now?
At the moment, I've took a break from the game I played for the last 3 months. There's been a few clubs interested, but my head ain't really been in it.
Where was your last club?
Sporting Gazza, Bentley.
What?
The last 3 years it's been quite low league really, just local.
Oh, okay. What division's that?
It's step 7 or step 8.
Is that the West Midlands Prem?
That's it. It might be 2 above that actually.
Oh, okay. So that's the last 3 years that you've been at the non-league. So how's that been for you then?
It ain't too bad, to be honest. I mean, nothing's as good as playing against the pros and that, but it's just to tick me over really and make sure that I got much time to think about stuff and
get in trouble.
That's it, to get in trouble or because.
Hey, so you're talking about where you have mental. We're going to talk about that later as well. But I think most importantly, you've had a real good career so far, haven't you? So take us back, Liam. So where did it all start? How did you get picked up by Wolves?
To be honest, it was by chance actually, because they actually come to watch a friend, and I was on it. I think I was 10, 11 years old, and me and my mum went to a game. My mum used to take me most of the times.
Who did you play for?
It was Dudley Town at the time.
Yeah.
It was Dudley Town under 12s. I played 2 years above myself. I played.
Did you felt when you was younger that you always wanted to be a footballer? You
That
had
was
the
my
ability to play above?
I was obsessed, and I'd do anything to make that dream come true. You know, I'd run through walls, anything. I'd be out with the ball for 6, 7 hours a day until the lights sort of come on.
You used to play by the back of it, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I got shouted a few times. I think.
Big eight next door in the gym, man.
Yeah, he could never catch me.
We used to be out there ourselves, man.
Did you used to play up here as well?
Yeah, well, I think the old Hall or Sedgley and Greens, you played by the back of the didn't you, at some point? Wally and that. Down the back of this, like the centre where we am, like.
What position do you play by?
I was like wing.
Yeah, like a little.
I was essentially White Lions, man. I was essentially White Lions, man.
Cool. I mean, for the record, I'm a right back, just a steady right back. If in doubt, kick it out. Like I fucking nothing to my name, mate. But go back to where you started. You was at Dudley Town under 12s.
I was at Dudley Town, and the Wolves scout had come to watch my mate. I couldn't tell you his name, but they ended up speaking to my mum and saying, "Do you know who that number 9 is?" And then my mum said, "Yeah, that's my son, like." And I said, "Do you mind if we have a word with him?" And after the game, they just pulled me to one side and they invited me to a 6-week trial at the academy. So we just went from there. Anyway, I went on trial, and I think after 3 weeks, I'd signed for Wolves. But
How old was you then?
I was 11 then.
And like, who was in your academy group then? That
It
we
would be
would
like Wayne Hennessy,
Oh, okay.
Elliot
Yeah,
Bennett, Lee Collins.
So it's a good group. You had a good group of players then. Back
Yeah,
then.
it was. To be honest, there was a few players still playing now and earning good money, earning thousands at the game, like, you know. But
So you was in the academy. You're in the academy with Lee Collins, Wayne Hennessy. Well, Wayne Hennessy went on to play for Wales in the international, so that's a good standard of football that you was working at. Do you remember them games? So at what point did Wolves sign you?
well, I've just gone 11 years old, and to be honest, I'd just signed, and 3 months after we'd signed, I got asked to play for England and represent England out in Tokyo. And
So who was in that group of players that you
there was me, like I say, Elliot Bennett. There was a lad called Ross Draper who went up to play in Scotland, Lee Collins, Amari Morgan Smith, I think he's still playing for Kidderminster at the moment.
Yeah.
But it was a good set, and to be honest, in that year, it was out to us and Liverpool who was going to go over to Japan to represent England, and Liverpool, the date shown, couldn't make it, so we went out there. There's
So
a lot
Wolves
of
represented England.
That's it,
Then,
in
yeah,
Tokyo,
okay,
because
yeah.
the World Cup, FIFA World Cup was a year after, and on the pitch that we played on, Ronaldinho, he lobbed Beckham and knocked us out.
So you play on the same pitch as that?
That's it, yeah, we played the final there against China.
Yeah.
There was a local lad called, come to Tokyo, we made Dean Williams.
Oh, he was a good player.
He came to Tokyo.
Dean's coming back here as well.
Is this where the academy starts here, the back of this fucking building?
Good players. But yeah, we went out there and we ended up winning it, to be honest. None of us believed we could. Like, we were just taking every game as it comes, and we played Australia, America, played a Brazilian team.
And how long was you out for?
I think it was 12 or 13 days all in all.
That's like 11 years old, you're playing the back of the quarry.
I'd only been signed for about 3 months, so it went from like Dudley Town, playing in Dudley, and before I know it's like I blinked and I was in the middle of Tokyo playing on a 50,000 capacity stadium.
Was it a lot of pressure for you?
Yeah,
well, it or what was it?
It was pressure, but I don't know what it was. We just seemed to take it within our stride. I mean, nowadays, I feel like it'd be a massive thing, but then as a kid, I think you don't really take no notice. The crowd, you just go out there and you just play. I mean, the crowd drowns itself out, sort of thing. But I remember when we landed in Japan, the air was that thick, and we was all being sick, and then we had to like sort of adjust to the climate. And that took a day or so.
I think that's what a lot of boxers do. They go away like 8 weeks in, don't they? Just feeling like without jet lag and whatever.
Climbing up the mountains and going on risks on the mountains.
It's unbelievable, isn't that really? Like, 11 years old, you're playing in Tokyo, it's just...
Yeah, of course. To be honest, it's one of them pinch me moments. Like, I don't really realise it was happening, like you do, and then when you're back, you're like, oh, that just happened. When you watch it back, like...
So you've got that, like, that world of, like, Tokyo, and then you're back into personal world. What was that like as a child?
To be honest, as a child, I always prayed freely because I was free and I never really had a racing mind or anxious thoughts or anything that had come later on in life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as a kid, I just felt free on the pitch, and them was my happiest times and memories in football. Yeah. So back home, was you still playing school football and district? I was playing school football. I captained the district and I captained the county. And I do actually remember a year after I come back from Tokyo, I left Ward because I remember having a conversation with my dad.
Okay.
And I was saying, Dad, because what it was with these big clubs, I don't like you to play for your school or your district in case you get injured. So you're no good for them, that sort of thing. I sort of try and protect you. Yeah. But that's where my most enjoyment was, playing with my mates.
Yeah. And so a lot of people say that, don't they?
Yeah, as soon as I took that away, I was like, Dad, I don't think I want to be there anymore. And I did, I left. I said, I don't want to be there. So I left, and in 2 weeks, I had a trial for crew. And at the time, Liverpool used to have all their players sort of, that was like a feeder club for Liverpool, you know. And I said, Dad, I wouldn't mind going and seeing what the crack is like, And anyway, we went up to crew, and they offered me a 2-year contract. I was on 11, probably just on 12. And then my dad says, what do you want to do? And I just says, I don't really know. I don't want to make a decision tonight, Dad. I just want to go home and I'll think about it. But at the time then, Wolves still wanted me to go back there. So Wolves put a 4-year deal on the table. So I said to my dad, this takes me straight up till I'm 16. You know. If we could come up with something that I can play so many district and county games.
And do you get paid, or do the parents get paid? Like, how does it work?
As a kid, now you get like all your gear and all your holidays. You've got to remember that you go out to play tournaments in Amsterdam, Italy, Germany. So all that's paid for expenses wise, but I never got paid till 16. You start at YTS and then you start off on 100 quid a week.
Bloody hell. So you got through that and you're going for that group of players.
Then you start partying.
And then I started. Let's get to
we'll get more questions coming in there. Let's start it there.
We'll forward on straight away.
They're on the line. They're on the line.
That's what it's going to be, the podcast. It's going to be from Molyneux to Montes. So you've got to 16, you've signed up for a YTS.
I'm saying, Craig, ask all the boring questions.
We'll get to the drugs, we'll get to the armed robbery.
That's it, man. It's coming down.
So you're at 16 now, decent group. So what's the next stage then at Wolves?
So 16. When I was 14, Wolves took me out of school and I done my full education at Wolves. So I went sort of full time at 14 in year 9 at school. Wolves just says we'll give him his education.
They must have thought a lot of you and they had to do that.
Thinking of it now, they must have, you know. And to be honest,
did you appreciate it?
not as much as I should have, maybe. I should have appreciated it more. Because when I was a kid, I never really listened to anyone, and I knew what was best, you know.
Yeah.
And that was it. But yeah, at 14, so I got took out of school, and then at 16, I started me off on my YTS, £100 a week. That's when sort of you start venturing out and going out on a weekend. Yeah, of course. You start to get a taste for it, like, you know.
£100 a lot of money back then, that morning. That was a good 4 nights out. I mean, I'd glad on 20 quid.
2004. I remember.
Big on the wall of that.
I'm dropping my figure. I had that old one. I remember getting my first pay packet about 400 quid.
Decent in for a 16.
How old are you now?
16 at the time.
How old are you now?
33 now. So that was about 2004. That was.
Yeah.
I think Glenn Oddle was the manager then.
Okay, so under that group of players, then you had Glenn Oddle. What group of players were underneath him then?
You had like Jay Boffroyd. You had. Was it the 2004? That was the season.
So you had like Joleen Lescott, Matt Murray, and all those guys. Yeah. So what was that like? Playing alongside them type of players?
To be honest, that was something now when I look at. I think like it was a wow moment, but at the time, I was just comfortable.
I bet you were as good as them, were you?
Yeah, I was. I fit in. I fit in, you know what I mean? And I'd score goals and that, and like.
What is it like behind the scenes though? I mean, like. You hear stories, and I've listened to a few ex-players saying, there's big dressing room bust-ups, like, and there's pranks, and
don't get me wrong, I mean,
what's it like?
There is fights and that. You try and keep it all within the camps.
Obviously, I'm going to ask you, did you see any fights that?
Do you know what? There was a few. I remember the one. I think it was a lad called V.O. Guinea, and there was a young lad called Kevin O'Connor. And Kevin O'Connor, I think Guinea had just come in late on him, and he got up and he just headbutted him. Like you heard the crunch sort of thing, like. But that was.
That's training, just normal training.
That was just normal training. That was. And to be honest, I've never really seen many furious things. I mean, you push and shove and that, but you just crack on. Like,
Did you ever get on the receiving end of anyone?
Never. The once I went to head a ball out and Matt Murray was coming behind me and I was just going to head it out and he just cleaned me straight off my feet. Like, he was about 6'6", Matt was. He was a big lad. But yeah, I've never really had any bust-ups. I've got on with everyone. I mean, I've told a few people to fuck off.
Who's one of the nicest? Tony Craig.
That's alright, yeah.
Who's one of the nicest blokes you've played with or trained with?
Nicest footballers.
To get on with, like down to earth.
To be honest, all the lads like was kind and considerate and like they'd do anything for you. What was Gazza like? Gazza.
How did you play with Gazza then?
What happened with Gazza was when Glenn Oddle took over, Glenn Oddle called Gazza in, because I think Gazza wanted somewhere to just get fit and train and just keep ticking over.
Yeah.
I remember one day I went in and I walked in the physio room and I just heard this Geordie lad and I looked to my side and there's Gazza. And I'm thinking, fucking hell, like, I remember him when he put it over Hendry's head and
yeah.
I love Gazza, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, he trained with us for about 3 weeks a month, Gazza did. And Gazza was just like, he done what he wanted, you know what I mean? Like, after the reserve games.
Is it true?
Did he used to play on a drink or called?
Yeah, well, to be honest, he's told us stories when he's had like sleepers and he's had drinks before games or whatever, and he's won man of the match and shit like that. If you possess that quality though, like, and you can do shit like that.
Yeah. Was he as mad as everyone said he is?
Yeah, like, but he's good to be around. He's got that good feeling, you know. Yeah. He's always sort of laughing.
What other old pros that you played with? So, surely you played Paul Ince, Dennis Irwin.
Paul Ince.
Oh, yeah. So
I remember training with the first team one day, and Paul Ince, he'd always, I don't know, he'd scream at you if you'd done something wrong. He'd just let you fucking know that you'd done something wrong.
Is that because he'd just say, look, I'm Paul Ince, I'm fucking...
He can do that, you know what I mean? So he's a gaffer, he's a governor, but I remember one day, he was there, he's about 5 yards away, and I saw a lad running about 50, 60 yards away, and I thought, fuck this. Paul Ince is just there. All I've got to do is just give it him, you know, and he's screaming.
Bear in mind, that's England international Paul Ince,
And I thought, nah, I'm going to try and spray this ball like this well. And he's got cut out, and they've scored on the break sort of thing. On a reserve team game. Yeah. But I just seen him staring at me and rushing over to me, and I thought, fucking hell, he's going to give it me. And in the end, he just says, like, I don't want to be like that, but yeah, he says, but if I don't scream and be in your face, he was sort of pushing me at the time.
Oh, really?
Like, you know what I mean? But he saying, next time I ask for that fucking one on 5 yards away, you make sure you fucking give it me.
To be fair, I'll fucking give him the ball. If he said that to me.
Course. You know.
So, Liam, you're in the position there where probably you're under Glenn Hoddle now, aren't you?
Glenn
so,
Hoddle.
what, you're 17, 18?
I've just turned my 16, 17, yeah.
So, are you youth team or in reserves now?
Do you know what it was? We used to go in every day and we'd look at a board and we'd either be travelling youth team alone, youth team reserves, or with the first team. So you wouldn't really know till you got there who you was with.
Yeah.
It was sort of nerve-wracking, really, because I mean, training with the first team, it's a big thing. Like, you know, it's fast.
Do you notice the standard just increasing?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, like balls are wrapped in the first team. There ain't many mistakes, really.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be on it.
What was the coach's feedback to you at the time? Did they generally believe that there's a chance you'd be in the first team?
The coaches, I was under a coach called John Perkins. That was my academy times, but the gaffer, Glenn Hoddle, and after that, Mick McCarthy, I spent sort of more time with.
What was Glenn Hoddle like? I reckon he was amazing tactician.
He used to play with us, and he used to play centre mid, and he used to just be spraying balls everywhere. He never looked like he was out of place.
Really?
He could have probably done a job.
Really?
Sort of thing. Yeah, it was unbelievable to watch. Some of the times on the pitch, I felt myself sort of, you know, watching him because he was that good, man. He's touching everything.
Yeah.
You won't believe.
So going back to like the Gazza stories, so he was a tickler along. Did you ever spend any one-to-one time with Gazza?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes after training, when I'm having a shower or whatever, Gazza just be having a fag in the shower or after a reserve team game.
Did you ever go on a bender with him?
I never went on a bender with Gazza. I think he was clean at the time.
Oh, was he?
I think he was
Till he
clean
met
at the time.
Wade.
Yeah.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah, there was.
So Gazza's in the show, having a fag.
That's it. Gazza was in the shower after reserve team games, and the gaffer had just shouted to him, "See you in the morning, Gazza," and he'd say sound and that.
Whilst he's got a fag in
Whilst
there.
he's got a fag and that. It was just mad to watch. Like, I remember seeing him thinking, fucking hell, that's mad. He's a drag of that Gazza.
Oh, really? Brilliant. So now you've got to a point there where it's after Hoddle was McCarthy, wasn't he?
It was Mick coming, yeah.
What was he like? Mick?
He was stern, like, I believe, good manager, and he spent a lot of time, like, with me and bearing with me, like, you know, because I reckon I was an handful.
Why was you at that point then? How old are you then?
I really 17, and floating around my 18, and that's whether you get a pro or not. But to be honest, I'd already started the benders and that. Probably when I was 17.
Was it pressure as well, between or just money, or just a lifestyle, people in your van?
What it was, I'd say a big thing was the people I was around, but if ever I'd have a problem, I'd just self-sabotage or start drinking just to mask the problem. I could never really deal with my problems.
What kind of problems would you have?
I don't know, I'd say being mentally, I wouldn't say unstable, but
Up and down
and not being able to find that. Nothing could satisfy me.
See, I remember if it was the same girl knocked about with a few people I knocked about with, I think I was in jail when things changed for you.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I can't remember it. I remember you was a star. I went, oh, who's this kid? And then, bang.
Yeah.
But nothing can control that.
I was mentally weak. I couldn't do it.
But like I say, I haven't done jail or anything like that. But you saying there, he's like, I am mad-ish. But like, you saying that you nothing can satisfy you. But I'm listening to that. You've got Gazza, Paul Ince, you know, £100 a week, regardless. You're playing. You live in the dream. So why wasn't that?
There's an agency for the bottle of vodka.
You know what I mean?
But
But now, to be honest, I don't know, my childhood was very up and down. It was very stable, the household, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That I lived in. So I don't really have much
Did
peace.
your parents stay together? Or?
Yeah, my parents have always been together, but you know, it's always been roses.
Yeah. So you're at that point there where you keep saying you're an handful. What are you still performing on the pitch, or are you starting to dip? Or
16 and 17 and 18, I was top goal scorer every year, so I was still performing. That's the only thing that was keeping me head above water, because I was still banging the goals in. That was saving me. And
you top goal scoring for the youth and reserves?
All youth, when I was 17, 18, and then when I went into reserves for 2 years. I was top goal scorer at both them with 20 plus goals as well. So that's what kept me there. I was always in the right place at the right time, like, you know.
Who was you starting to play with at that point? What type of players?
Well, it would have been like your Jay Bothroyds and that, Carl Henry. I remember.
I've heard stories about Jay Bufford that he thinks he's better than he is.
Yeah, to be honest, he's never had. I've got on with Jay, like, because we played in the reserves together, and I always thought he was a good geezer sort of thing, but he did have a bad attitude.
I suppose it's hard not to, like anybody on that was on the arm, I think that he had a bit of cocky or a spring in the step when I'm playing for good teams and that.
Well, all sportsmen like boxing as well.
Yeah, you've got to have
a bit of arrogance in you about
I like a bit of arrogance. I say to footballers nowadays when I'm giving interviews, I don't see anything there. It's just like there's nothing beyond the eyes. There's no humour or anything. Everything's so serious.
So I'm a Rooney. Real like Daniel and I was laughing off. He was here to get up.
Of course, but you don't get characters like Gazza and that nowadays in the sports world.
During that point, you mentioned about Gazza and there wasn't players like Gazza now, but there's got to be like dressing room at the time. It must be like bands from the lass, you hear like stories, I've heard stories, the past where players just go on the piss, without the manager knowing. Was it like that at Wolves at the time?
Yeah, I mean, it started, I think I remember the ones where it was in Germany, and it was an under-18s tournament, and we was all out anyway, and I think we played Hertha Berlin on the day we'd won 1-0, all the lads was happy, and I said to the lads, tonight
I'm going to celebrate. Well, the competition wore over, it was only a game in. So to be honest, we still had 3 or 4 days left of games, so I've said to all the lads, get ready, get behind your doors, I'll knock you around 7:30, we'll sneak out.
So you was a ringleader?
Back to rights.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd get everyone ready.
Get everyone ready.
We'd go out, and then once, we was in the middle of nowhere in Germany, I was like, where the fuck are we going to go? So we've come out the hotel, all the lads are dressed up, there's about 12 of us dressed up, and I'm looking around thinking, we fucked here. We see a taxi coming down the road, and I'm like, yeah, listen, we'll all get in the taxi, fucking big minibus thing, so we come down, pull it over, taxi! And then I look behind me, the hotel's there, but all the trees just start moving, and all the lads have gone, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? So, the taxi stopped, the back door's opened. Who's got out the taxi? Our football manager and assistant manager. So I've pulled over the taxi with our manager in.
Oh, brilliant.
I never played in Germany again for the next 3 or 4 days.
Brilliant.
I never played. But it was one of them stories like when I've looked behind. And he just thinks it's me dressed up drinking. Because all the lads have dusted.
Oh,
they've already fucked off.
Yeah. Brilliant. So that was a good point. So you coming into. You said McCarthy was tolerated, yeah? In what way?
Nah, to be honest, tolerated the thing. He had a lot of time for me, and he put a lot of work and everything for me. Just think that when my problems did get real bad, and there was no more help, and I couldn't train or thingy, Wolves, they paid like £29,000 to put me into rehab. So it was as if they don't think anything of me. That was trying.
The pressure, does it get worse? And then, it mentally you think I'm fucking this up here, but
there is a lot of pressure.
And you try your best to get out, it gets worse and worse and worse.
To be honest, one of the other things is, I just want to do well, so I was bothered about what others thought of me, so I wasn't really doing it for me. It was never for me, it was just to look okay. I never really, when I got to 18, 19, I'd had enough of playing.
Really?
I don't want to play anymore. I felt so sick when
how did it start, that side of it?
I'd say it started when I started going out. And then
was he around
Fridays, Saturdays, I think Wade was out of it, man.
I was on lock up myself.
He was in the Majesty
What year was the main assault, the main...
2006, I'd say.
I was just gone then. I remember it. I was inside,
I just turned pro, and then that's when all the problems started.
So you've literally done the hard part, turned pro, but you say that's probably the worst time?
That's what I'm saying, that was the worst time, because I was waiting for a phone call really at the night to see if I got my pro, and I was just waiting for a bloke called Chris Evans to phone me, and I wasn't really bothered about him phoning, and I remember thinking, this is what you've done all your life, this is why you practice 6-7 hours a day. like, and then, so, when I got my pro, it's like, I don't know what else to achieve then. And I understand you say you can go on in the game, but my dream was to become a pro footballer. So when I achieved that, it's like I just sort of stopped, you know, and I thought, that's enough.
Oh really?
I've done what I needed to do, and then I was already probably on decline then, going out and that, but I was scared to miss something. I mean,
was you enjoying yourself out? Everything knew you as well a bit. And
I was.
But a few years back, I'd go somewhere every year and I'd love it, I'd be much off it. And did that affect it like?
It did. Well, I had chances to get out of going up. I had a plane waiting for me the once at Birmingham to go up to Scotland, to go to Hamilton 2 months later, and that would have got me out. Wolves sort of knew what I was doing with that.
Yeah. And
I said, there's a plane there, so I've left the training ground. I've just gone straight on. I don't really want to leave, go on all what's happening here. I'm too bothered about what's happening, you know, thinking I'm going to miss something.
Yeah.
It's mad when I talk about
it.
I really miss something now. I miss the main, you know.
So, is it because, like, you use that regimented and the, you know, like curfews and the, you know, nutrition and all that? Is it just quite fucking,
I suppose that could play a big part, yeah. I mean, but
also, just not get wrong, like, it is nice. It was now too many responsibilities and whatever else, but it was nice to go out, get ready.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
No, I mean, would you have a laugh?
I can't say that it was all bad because I had some great memories out there, you know.
Yeah.
I've had some bad ones, but I've had some great memories out there.
But it does affect you.
In the long run, I believe your mental health does get affected.
It does,
you know.
100%.
Yeah. And
what would you do differently in that situation if you went back in time?
Say if you had a son now, 16, 17, playing for Wolves, and what would you be your advice?
I'd try and talk to him, and money management was a big one. I believe we just had money through at us, and it was like, deal with it. I mean, when you're 18 and you start earning, say, I don't know, £1,000 a week, and then you got bonuses on top of that, it's a lot of money. And me with money, it's just bad decisions, you know. I've never been any good making good decisions.
I say that some people are better off skinned.
I agree.
You've got no money, yeah, safe.
I'm safe.
I've had that work for me before, who I've given money to and they don't see him for 2 weeks. And I'm off the rest, and then they come back and like monthly pay, even, I don't know, it's a big inset in life.
Would you say all that, like, stems back to your childhood, though, like the stability, you say about stability at home?
Maybe, probably does interlink, yeah. It's got to have had an effect somehow. But I just believe that with these football clubs, I believe somebody should be going in and talking to, say, the 16, 17-year-olds, just asking how they are and sort of how I'm coping, because we never had that. So it was like, deal with your own devices, there's your money, there's this. And I don't know, I just felt like it was easy to go off path or...
See, that's what I've noticed as well. Like, I am really a football man, Craig, the football man here. I played as a kid now. But another thing Adam brought up, who works with me, like, he's a football coach, and he says, like, opposite, a lot of the kids don't get took pro, and then they don't know what to do and they go off the rails. He's been took pro and gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's obviously no rails, is that?
Yeah, there's no guidance.
Do you know what I mean? Well, not that back then, I don't know what it's like now. But I know a lad a couple of years back, he's somewhat, don't remember what happened, but I think he got rejected, left to his own devices, and it was...
Just catastrophic for him, like.
Really. It's a couple of
you know,
I've met a few lads in jail that's been through some ex-pros and brilliant. I was in with Hughes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he was legend, but he was the same, a big part there, but I suppose you do party, like, but... Go on, sorry.
Just to go into like the McCarthy bit, you know, you said about him supporting and putting a lot of time in. In what way? Because I think a lot of the Wolves fans will want to know that.
Well, you know what? He'd always work with me. He'd have me training with the first team. I remember the one day, and I regret it to this day, to be honest, he's come in the changing room and he's speaking to the lads saying, so-and-so, you're travelling tomorrow, so-and-so, you're travelling. And I've just gone to Wrexham, I think it was, and I've travelled up there, and I was having a terrible day. And he says, you'll be travelling with the first team. And I says, I ain't travelling with the first team, I ain't coming. And he says, what do you mean you're not coming? I says, I ain't coming, not to sit on the bench in front of the lads, like.
So in front of the first team?
In front of the lads, like, and you could tell that, fucking right, you know what I mean? And he says, you'll never fucking travel with me again.
Really?
And I saw the sort of, the change in his eyes, like, and I thought, fucking hell. That was amazing.
That's how close you got.
Me goosebumps.
So that's how close you got.
Yeah, I regret that
Why?
to this day.
We said that. Had you been out? Had you had a bad day? No, I mean, what was the reason? This is
remember
what
the
this was
reason.
going to help people out.
Yeah,
the truth, Liam, is the truth.
I mean, that it was just
What
pent
made
up.
it?
It was just pent up anger. I couldn't tell you to this day specifically what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I was having a bad day, I'd make sure there was a few others having a bad. That's a bad way to think. I understand, but that's the way I thought.
Yeah.
I never brought good auras with me or good energy.
Yeah.
If I was having a bad day, everyone would fucking know it.
See,
And him having a bad day as well. But that ain't fair.
Now you do bring good auras down. I can have a good chat with you on the phone when I see him, laugh and joke. Totally uses all that energy now to put into helping, offering to help all the time, be able to fuck, you know what I mean? So it's obviously, you obviously learned there, mate, from
just life and life events.
Do you remember the moment you got released by Wolves? That conversation?
Yeah, I remember going upstairs. It was nothing that I never expected.
Oh, really?
I mean, I know for the last 2 years I was top goal scorer in reserves, and I don't know why I had a chance in the first team, to be honest, because the numbers was there. I was in the numbers, you know. It was over 20 every year, but it was my lifestyle. My lifestyle was just terrible, and when I left the training ground, I was just a fucking a nightmare, you know.
What way? Like drinking, drugs?
Well, you think, at this training ground we've got a chef called Eric, and he's cooking us salmon, your eggs. He's cooking everything fresh, so we get all this done for us. We get all our towels folded, all our kit folded. When I come out them gates and my life I arranged for me, I just sort of struggle, you know what I mean? And when I've got time on my hands, it's just bad decisions.
A lot of footballers say that, they have a lot of time on hands, because typically they're like train till 11 and then...
Yeah, well, you could have double sessions. Sometimes it was good because you'd go home and sleep then. But if you'd finish at 11 or go and have you some dinner and you finished at 12 o'clock, you know what I mean? I went on loan to Bury up Manchester and they put me in an hotel, and I was there a month, and we'd finished training at 11:30, 12, and then I'll be back in this hotel stuck for would you get the drink? Yeah, I mean the bar was free. The bar was free because that was all on. Barry would pick that tab up. I was like, it's not dangerous, man. I'm just sitting there most days.
And are you still performing? Or was you having a bit of a chaotic...
At Bury, to be honest, at Bury, I only made one start and I made 3 sub-appearances. The manager at the time, Chris Casper, his name.
Oh yeah, he was at Man United, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, right.
Yeah.
He was with Keith Alexander.
Yeah.
And,
that's Gary Neville's best friend.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Chris Casper. Yeah.
Because at the time it was Gary Neville's mom who was doing the books for us. I'll tell you a name in a bit.
Got to be something Neville.
You know what this reminds me of a bit like? I don't know what to say this one, but like I read Andy Coote's book.
Yeah.
And he used to box at high level, sparring Chris Eubank, drinking nights before. I read it like, and I thought, oh, man, like, that's mad. Like, what could you do if you were doing that? Do you know what I mean?
That's what I thought.
You're on lounge every now, you're drinking every day.
Yeah.
Every day in the bar and then going to work.
Still fitting in and coping, you know. It was one, to be honest, there was one morning that sticks out in my mind. It was crazy. I got back about 6, 7 in the morning. I was training with the first team the next day. So I hadn't slept. So I'd gone straight to training. I was sitting on the bench. The bench was like this. And I thought, fucking hell. I feel worse than death here. I'm checking my pockets before I get changed, and I found a bit of coke from the night before. And I thought, fuck it, why not? So I've gone in the cubicle, done it, straight, I'm perked up, I can go and train, I've got changed, I've gone out training, and the sweat is just uncontrollably busting from my temple, and my heart's racing. And the manager, the assistant manager at the time was Terry Connor. And he come over to me and he says, you stink of vodka. He says, the gaffer's just told me to send you home. I says, I'm alright, I'm sweet, like, I've just carried on. And he's come over to me again. He just go home. He says, go home and don't come back tomorrow. This was on a Tuesday. He said, don't come back tomorrow, come back Thursday. And I think I had to pay about £250 fine, that fine me. But I was out of control then, like, you know, anything.
Did you have like a girlfriend or anything like that at the time, just to single lad?
Yeah, I had a partner at the time, but they really, I don't know, my partner had just session and drink with me, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, that was a crazy day, that was, to be honest.
So, you know, I'm dying to ask. You know what question, are you?
Go on.
What did you use the for?
Robbery.
Sorry, got jumped in.
That's fine.
But just in case anything happened or timing that.
So yeah.
So Liam, what happened with this armed robbery? Because that's my main question. Sorry if I've jumped the gun, but I just want to know.
Yeah, cool.
What happened? Because I can remember this.
So I was in decline by then, and my life was just only going one way, to be honest, fast. And I remember I'd been released. We were talking about rejection, weren't we? I struggle to accept rejection, and I'm like, I don't know how to deal with it, Wade. You know, so if I get rejection, I'm like, fuck this, I'll drink, I'll do this, I'll do anything but deal with it. So I'm like, I hate being rejected, or I did hate being rejected. So it was about 6 months after I'd been released, might have been a bit sooner than that. Me and my mate, we were out drinking, and we've got no money left, we've drank all the thing and we've done all the, you know, what comes with it, the coke or whatever. So, me and my mate were talking, we've just been said, fuck it, you know. My mate at the time, I can't really name him, but he said this, you know, we'll go and fucking do this, and I'm like, yeah man, we'll do it, no problem. We ain't even more balaclavas, we ain't that much off our head, we ain't that fucked. We've gone in, it's cameraed up, we've just gone in bare face like nothing's going to happen. So, the robbery happened. That same day, we'd been out drinking. I think I'd been out 2-3 days, no sleep. Your mind starts fucking...
I'll do myself,
yeah,
I've done stuff myself.
You question everything, you don't know what's true and what ain't. So I'm about 3 days in. And then, after the day of the robbery, I've gone out with some lads. I've gone into a scuffle.
Did you get away with it then, the robbery?
Yeah, well, we've ran down the road. We've ran down the road with a till. All the coins dropping out. Like, there's all money down the road. You know, it's fucking madness. Like, you know what the police says? The police says, when we found the till, there was still money in the till. That's how far we...
Are you not at a football club anymore? Those that you was...
Nah, I was ready. To be honest, I was my mental health then was screaming, and I just don't know how to deal with anything.
You got stabbed there as well?
I got stabbed that same night of the robbery.
What, by the shopkeeper or just...
Nah, a few lads who was at it, we've had a scuffle or whatever, it's leading to this. I got stabbed anyway. So I'm in the hospital, and I woke up, and I'm thinking, I want a fucking robbery charge, I need to get out of it. I can't walk, I want a Zimmer frame. I've been stabbed twice in the back, I can't walk.
Fucking hell.
I've said to the nurse, I need to get out today, I'm leaving now. She said, okay, we'll just get your medication. Just wait for your medication, you can go. I said, okay, wait, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes medication. Police have come round the finger. I was just waiting, the police, so they've cuffed me. I think I got cuffed on a Friday, and on a Friday, if you get cuffed on a Friday, you have to do the Saturday in the cell, the Sunday in the cell. Wait, this fucking now.
So you're on that.
Crawling the walls, man.
I want to come down, I've been stabbed twice, I'm on a Zimmer frame, and I'm in a cell for 3 fucking days. I'm thinking, jail must be easier than this, and it is.
It is, yeah.
You know, the cells, and it's horrible, disgusting, but when I landed in the jail, so I went straight to court on the Monday, and the judge says remand you.
Joking.
My solicitor was like, no.
Is this the first time you've ever been arrested?
Or whatever, like, you know, what you mean, remanded, taking. So I've gone down, I've got my Zimmer frame, I've landed in Blakenhurst, I'm on a Zimmer frame, and in jail, where you got to watch your back. Oh fuck, do you know what I mean? Anything could happen. I'm like, if they want to hit me or do what they're going to do, I'm fucked, I've got no protection.
How did that feel when you first walked into that prison?
That was probably one of the worst times of my life, because I was on the come down from all what was happening, and a lifestyle that was just fucking mad. A fast lifestyle it was.
How old was you at the time?
I think I was 20, 21. I'd done my 2-year pro, so 18 to 20. I was around 20, 21.
Fucking hell.
Where my football career should have just been taken off, I should have been earning the diamonds.
Yeah.
And that's it, you know. But unfortunately, I was stuck in a jail. But yeah, that first day, I don't know. I could have said suicide across my mind, fucking below.
Really?
You know? Well, that was easy. I don't have to feel none of that anymore. I could just get out, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then anyway, we got through one day, and the next day, in
How
my
long
jail.
was you on remand before you got sentenced?
I think I was on
That's probably the worst day.
4 to 6 weeks, but wait, they did give me tag a few weeks out, and then I went back to jail. So they gave me but when I went to jail, got remanded, and then my solicitor appealed for my to get tag. So they gave me tag, and I
I was on tag for about 2-3 weeks, and then I went to my court hearing, and then back to jail for 3 years.
And you got 3 years?
Yeah, 2 years, 8 months.
And did you get fit in jail?
Yeah, I mean, jail, I never touched anything.
So I was really straight. You got your football, so you was playing football in jail.
Yeah,
Where was you?
I was Blakenhurst first, and then I went to Stafford. You start off in the green, don't you?
Yeah, but that's the same.
You start off in the green and then Stafford, but I mean, Stafford, you'd work every day, so, I mean, your jail would fly in. I mean, there ain't no such thing as a good jail, but it really did fly then. I mean, you'd work from 8 in the morning till fucking 5 at night. £2 a day, that's what it was. Cleaning bins, but you make yourself, see, so...
What decat did you do?
I never got decat.
Did you get
I
decat?
got tag.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but there was a story about this tag because I had 3 months left and I'd appealed for tag and I thought, no, I might get it. I was on tag just before I come and I never breached it. So I appealed for it. But a few weeks before, the officer in the jail called me and he said, you've got a parcel. And I thought, I ain't had nothing sent in. Like, this is dodgy, like, do you know what I mean? And everything was saying, just don't go and get it. And he was saying, oh, it's CDs. I said, oh, fuck it, got a few CDs worth, so I've gone there. I've never had nothing sent to me. I've opened this big 4-finger, well, the officer has, he's opened this big 4 CD thing. There's a phone in there. I'm like, fucking hell. I'm like, I read it. He's like, yeah, I bet this and that. Anyway, carried on. I found out that it was a lad. They only need your name and number off your door, and they can send you stuff. So that had just waited for me to get back in my cell. 2-3 of them give me a good fucking ID and got the phone.
Yeah.
So in the end, it was a good job I never fucking got the phone back, you know.
Yeah.
And that says we refused the tag.
You know, during your time in prison, what support did you have? Did you have any ex-pros?
Now, to be honest, it's a lonely place. You know, you have a few friends, probably 1 or 2 right here, but people just fucking forget about it, yeah? So you've gone off the face of the earth. I mean, your family's still there. But...
So you know what, I was quickly talking about me, but when I was in the SO, actually called me up, someone couldn't believe someone's having so much mail every day. Yeah. Do you know what, I passed my time writing letters back. Learned to read and write letters back. I used to write to like 3 or 4 different people per day. At the start it was 7 letters a day, mad. That's how I got my time done. How did you do your time? What was your thinking there like this? What was you doing?
I had loads of time because my thinking, it was just negative back then, but like fitness, I mean, in your pad, I used to wait for stuff to come on the TV as well. I mean, it's soft as it seems, but watching Coronation Street and EastEnders gives you a thingy every night to just...
That's a structure.
That's it, I'd go to work, and then Coronation Street, EastEnders, I was to bed, that's another day done, then tick it off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I got through my jail. I never really touched it, I kept myself to myself. I never really mixed with crowds, I just said alright to everyone, that was the way it was.
You know, like, I've never done jail, I've got the outside looking and you think, they get PlayStations, piece of piece. That's what everyone...
You get an old GameCube.
That's what everyone thinks of me, let's be honest.
See, this is what they're saying now though, like, just mentioning, I've spoken to him today, John Anslow, Skits.
Yeah. He's
in Belmarsh in a unit, he had a window in his cell, right? Now, that's saying that about him. Liam, you know yourself, jail is now... If it was an holiday camp, Craig, you wouldn't be scared to go, would you?
No.
Yeah. I'd be back there now, I wouldn't be...
People who say that, I'll question whether they've been
jail, and even saying...
It's fucking horrible, you miss everyone, and like, your freedom's gone.
You get on in it, like, I ain't crying, but you can't sit down, but you can't just go and love your mum, you keep going,
and your thoughts...
So one thing happens out here, and you're off. Your head's battered.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
You bang on, but jail's no holiday camp, and you should always try and dodge. So it's a terrible place, really. You can't really fucking relax, you know.
So how long did you do in jail?
I've done 12 months, I've done a full year, and then after about, so I got refused my tag, because that phone got sent to me, and I thought, fucking hell. I felt I'd done by there.
And you ain't gonna good for that, am you? When you're working for your tag?
Nah, of course not. I thought, like, I've been hard done by you. Fair play, like the lads tried to, you know,
graft.
Yeah, of course he has, but I've suffered for it. And I thought, fuck it, I've got 10 weeks left. And then after 3 weeks, the governor come to my finger and they accepted my tag. Yeah. They said we knew it was never you who sent the finger.
What was that like?
So I've suffered for 3 weeks, you know, well, yeah.
What was that like coming out? How did that feel, and what was
Mate,
waiting
I
for
ain't
you?
gonna lie, it was one of the best times of my life.
Do you think
My
you
partner
get
to
back
my-
into football? Or was it
Yeah,
when
I mean,
you
at the
was
time,
already planning, Jar, like, I'll get back to
Because
career back?
you're still in your prime, really.
Yeah,
you're
of
still in
course.
your 20s.
But I'd left my girlfriend at the time, she was pregnant, so when I come out to a daughter, you know, I
Okay.
went to jail thinking and come out to dad,
Yeah.
so I was just thinking I just want to spend some quality time with my family, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you come out, you start seeing all things and
Oh, that's
everything
really
changes a lot.
Everybody's
quicker.
like this, come on man, quick,
Yeah,
get your back, get your back.
of course, I know. But yeah, I promised myself that but I don't know, I still was a bit fucked up when I got out of jail. I mean, I'd found a bit of peace, but you still have a little, I don't know, not everything heals, like, sort of, till a good few years.
Did you get back into football quickly, or?
I did, I mean, but I was playing for local sides. I mean, I remember the once I was lying in bed on a Sunday morning in Diffusion, the shop.
Yeah.
Dave phoned me and said, do you want to earn 150 quid? Just come to us now. I'd get out of bed, go and earn the money, and that's it. Before you know it, I was done. So I was doing a lot of that, you know, just trying to earn.
Looking back now, isn't what, 23, 24, you could have been like I don't know, decent level stuff.
I could have, bro, just I never felt
Because
determined.
you hit that peak again, you've done it, and
I never felt determined enough, and I was sort of, I don't know, I don't have the hunger, you know. The difference between me and, say my mate Elliot Bennett is still playing there, but with his first payday, he bought a mattress, I think it was 1,000 quid.
Yep.
Now I was out,
Yeah, go tonight.
wanted. But that's the difference. That's the difference, do you know what I'm saying?
Are you in contact with Elliot Bennett now?
Yeah, I spoke to him a few weeks ago, to be honest. We've always kept in touch. But yeah, since I was 10, I grew up with Elliot. I mean, some of the memories we got is great, like.
But like you know, what's life been like after jail?
I've learnt a lot. I mean, now, like, you never really know what you're in for, do you, like, and then you grow up. I don't know what it was, I just wanted in life just to find a nice peace where I was chasing for something. I just don't want to keep being uncomfortable in myself, you know. Just started reading a lot more, and there is the right and wrong thing to do. I mean, often now I choose the right things, you know what I mean, but back then, I don't know, I was just
It was the wrong thing, was it? It was just the best thing, I suppose, a lot of the time.
I suppose it was, but I was just self-sabotage.
You're 33 now, it's still young, really, you know what I mean? They're 10 years back I'm talking here. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard, there's 23-year-olds I know now that I'm still living at the moment with some parents and struggling to get a job.
But
you know what I mean?
To be a pro footballer, it's
Yeah.
like every day you've got no chance because the players nowadays are stronger, I'm quicker, I'm more powerful. Like, these I'm training every day, so if you miss a day, you're falling behind, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And probably mentally stronger as well, isn't they?
I'd say they are. There's a lot of, I mean, the Premier League done a campaign against living miserably, it was called Calm, and that's in all the clubs now. I think people talking to young players, so there is a lot more, but back then in our day, we don't really have no one to talk to us like that. So it's like when I turned pro, and we've got our own chef, and we're folding our own towels and that, within 6 months of me leaving Wolves, I was like, there was a lad in the jail that once he was on the threes, he tied his bed sheet round his neck and he jumped off the threes.
Fucking hell.
You know? And it's like, fuck, you know, some of these things, it's hard to believe.
But
I went from that time, from pro to prison, 6 months, you know. And
it's scary, isn't it?
It's hard to adjust. Yeah.
So if you look back now in your career, and what would you change? Now would you, if you started, you're 11 years old, done a town, how would you change?
I want the start, everything was bang on, that's all alright. It's just my attitude and being open to listen to others, because I was really open, I'd never really taken notice of what you were saying. But nowadays, there's something in everyone says that we can sort of take and use for ourselves, so I just make sure I just listen a bit more. My attitude back in the day was, I know what's best for me, you know what I mean, but I wish I'd have just listened.
Do you think there's an opportunity to get back into football in a different way, though?
Well, yeah, I mean,
younger kids.
I'm just doing my coaching badges at the moment. I did do Wolves, but I think I'm run out after about 5 years.
Yeah.
So I've just got to go over them. I'm still going to play. I'm still going to earn a bit of money, probably for the next year or two, because I've seen the standard. and it ain't the best, to be honest. But
You need to go back home to Cornwall.
yeah, I believe I do as well. That might be happening.
Is there transfer gossip already?
That's it, yeah. To be honest, I've got to meet the Cornwall man.